Ahoy mateys, this is BrickBeard and I'm here with a brand new review. This one was released on 1st of January, so I did my best to push it out as quickly as possible. I'm talking about the Boutique Hotel from the Modular series. Also the first time I'm taking a look at one of the modular buildings, so let's go! Here it is, the Boutique Hotel, and for everybody that has been following my channel, you know that I myself am not a collector of the modular buildings. There's one very simple explanation for that. I was, first of all, just too late to start collecting these because the first ones now they go for ridiculous prices. So for me it's not worth the money to get started in this collection. But also I prefer more the fantastical type of sets. That's why in my Lego display room there will be a lot of room for pirates and castle and even western. So everything that has a bit of a fantastical feel to it. And for me the modular buildings don't really fit that bill too well. But that doesn't mean, of course, that I'm not interested in building these sets and seeing what it's all about, because I know there's a lot of fans out there that are completely crazy about the modular series. So I struck a deal with a close friend of mine and we're actually gonna split the set, so we bought it together. I have my first hands-on with this and I'll do the review, I build it completely and I'll break it down for him so he can have it afterwards. So from my point of view, that means that I don't have a lot of experience with the modular buildings. I did make some with my own parts and I recreated them in a bit, replaced parts where necessary. But I never had my hands on a full modular building straight out of the box. This is the first time. I think it's also interesting to see from someone who is very experienced, let's say, with Lego, to have a first hands-on experience with one of the modular buildings, especially for people that are long-time collectors of this series. But before we go into really delving into the set, let's look at a bit of background information of the set. This is 10297, the Boutique Hotel from the Modular Buildings Collection. Of course, this used to be the Creator Expert line, but they changed it to the 18+ Modular Buildings Collection a while ago. This comes with 3,066 pieces and it retails for $200, 200 euros, which comes down to 7 cents per piece. The designer is Andersen Wardgrup, and the only information I could find is that he also designed the flower bouquet from the Botanical Garden Collection and the Friends Apartments. I couldn't find any more information, but it's clear that this designer has a lot of experience with the complicated models. The set comes in a beautiful big black box, fully in line with the 18+ sets nowadays, with on the front just a huge picture and some information of the set itself, and on the back of the box we can see the Boutique Hotel together with the bookstore and the police station, which is the modular building set from last year. We can also see some small pictures with some of the features this set has and a blueprint of the model. Of course, it comes with a big instruction manual with the recognizable black cover. There is some information about the set itself and some of the designers. This is also the 15th anniversary of the Modular Buildings Collection. So the 15th in a row, so there is some extra information about that with some pictures of the previous designers. The build is split up into 14 bags. And it's actually a very easy to follow instruction manual. Now, before we really delve into the review of the set, I think everybody by now is pretty well aware of what the modular buildings have to offer. So it's always a building on a 32 by 32 base plate. Sometimes there's also a 16 by 32 next to it, but this goes back to the standard 32-32. And they can be connected to the other sets in the line by the Technic pins we get on the side. So on this side we have some room for the pins, and on this side we have it, so you can connect it on both of the sides. Of course, these sets have the option to take all the floors off to give you a look into the elaborate interiors that these sets come with. So this one has 3 floors and of course the roof. And next to the hotel we have a small little art gallery with a terrace on top of it. So that's the basic layout of the set, but let's first go really close into the minifigures the set has to offer. There are 7 minifigures in the set, so let's see what those are all about before we go into the real review of the rest of the set. The first minifigure we get in the set is the female receptionist. She has blonde hair with a ponytail, and if we take that off, a face printed only on one side. She's wearing some lipstick, some mascara, and she has a big smile on her face. Her torso is in olive green, and it's printed on the front and the back. She's wearing a hotel vest with 8 buttons in gold, and some detailing on the edges, also in gold, and a small strip of dark green below it. This print continues in the back with just a few lines, and her leg piece comes in dark green in normal standard size. The second minifigure is the male bellboy. He has a black, very stylish hairpiece, and if we take that off, his face is also only printed on one side. There we can see a black mustache, some cheekbones, big black eyebrows, and a small smile on his face. The rest of the minifigure is exactly the same as in the receptionist we saw earlier. The next minifigure is the art gallery owner. She has orange hair with a big bun on the back, and a face also only printed on one side, but the print is very unique. She's wearing huge red glasses with some mascara and lipstick, a very small smirk on her face, and a bit of a stern look. Her torso is in orange, printed on both sides. She has a white shirt under the orange jacket with a bit of her black belt showing under it, and she's wearing a golden necklace. This print continues in the back with just some lines, and she has a light blue leg piece in normal size. The fourth minifigure is a female tourist. She has a very elaborate black hairpiece with a huge bun and some braids in her hair, and under that a face printed on both sides. On one side she has a huge smile and some freckles, and on the other side it looks like she's sleeping with her eyes closed, but still the same freckles and makeup she's wearing on the other side as well. The torso is in light green with normal yellow arms, printed on both sides, where it looks like she's wearing a sweater with some cords and part of the hoodie on the front, which continues in the back where we can indeed see the rest of the hoodie and some lines. She as well has a regular sized leg piece in purple, and she has 2 accessories, one brown backpack and a photo camera. Next up we have an elderly lady called the Globetrotter. She has medium length grey hair in a perm and a face printed on both sides. One side a very small smile with some makeup, and on the other side she's wearing pink sunglasses. Her torso is in light pink, printed on both sides, with the arms also in yellow. The print on the torso depicts a very summery outfit with light pink and darker pink lines on it. She has a necklace made of flowers, and this print with the lines continues in the back, where we can also see a bow on the top of the back print. Her leg piece is in light beige. The sixth minifigure is the accountant. This elderly gentleman is wearing a black top hat and has a face printed only on one side. He seems very happy with a big smile on his face, and he has a beige colored beard and mustache. He has a black torso with white arms, printed on the front and the back, where the black is an overall with some very light blue printing of pockets and buttons, a white shirt under the overall with a black and blue tie. On the back of the print there's only some very small light blue lines. He has a normal sized black leg piece, and he has a little brown suitcase with a calculator inside as an accessory. The last minifigure is a male barista. He has a black hairpiece with short hair in spikes and a face printed only on one side. He has black glasses, some cheekbones and a very small stubbly beard, and a bit of a crooked smile. The torso is in white, and we have seen this piece before in the past for other baristas, with a brown apron with a coffee logo and a white shirt under that. The print continues in the back where we can see the rest of the apron, and the leg piece is in light blue with a brown printing of the apron in the front. So those are the 7 minifigures this set comes with, and I have to be honest here, there are a lot of parts and pieces there that they have reused from previous sets. The barista we've seen before, the accountant, his entire torso and body print we've seen before. Also the Traveler, the Globetrotter as she's called in this set, has pieces that we've seen before. So there's not a lot of unique stuff in the minifigures, which is a shame, because I really think for sets like this that are really aimed at an adult audience with who are looking for a very diverse experience with sets like this, I think it would be nice if they had put some more effort into making the minifigures also stand out more. They fit the set well, there is nothing to complain about the quality of the minifigures, it's just a shame that there's a lot of pieces that are reused. Other than that, I think it's also a bit of a shame that most of the minifigures only have a face print on one side, so you cannot really change the expressions of the minifigures that much. So in that sense, for me it was a bit of a letdown with this selection of minifigures that we got in here. To give you a bit of an idea, there's also sets that were released recently which go for half of the price but have double the amount of minifigures. So even 7 minifigures, although I think it's okay for a set like this that is mainly aimed at an adult audience, I think it's just underwhelming from the minifigure point of view, and that's why I'm going to rate that only a 6 out of 10. So let's say that was the bad news and we got it out of the way, the minifigure selection. Now it's time to look at the building experience. And the building experience, it was super nice. For me, what really struck me with never really having had any experience with the modular buildings is how smooth the build was. It is just a very clear build, not too complicated, also not too easy, so the perfect balance, and it makes for a super smooth building experience with a very nice end result, mind you. That's also something that counts, of course, in the building experience. And it really, like, I think I built the entire thing in less than 5 hours while recording it, so that usually takes a bit more time than when you just build it without any recording and having to look out for that. And I expected to spend much more time in it. So just because the build is just a very smooth build, it also means that it won't take you a huge amount of time. But that being said, I think they did a perfect job in that, because it really feels like an enjoyable build, which has a perfect balance of how complicated it is versus how nice it is to build it, with definitely some interesting building techniques, some snot techniques that we see on the side here, for instance. And for me, the building experience was really, I had a great time with the set, and I'm going to rate that a 9 out of 10. Then for the playability, and this is something that I have had some issues with the 18 plus sets in the past. The playability usually isn't the best. We have had some exceptions, so I think, for instance, the NES with the moving TV screen is an example of last year that had amazing play features. But even last year's Winter Village set had a pretty nice amount of play features. So there are absolutely examples where the 18 plus sets have a good balance between just the building experience and the playability. This is not one of those sets. I know from having read about it online, of course, that there are some of the sets that really have a huge story going around with some mysteries to solve, like in the police station of last year. This set is lacking that. There is not a huge amount going on. There are no real play features. Of course, you can play around with the minifigures. You have a little coffee cart in the front here, a little rack on the side here that Bellboy carries around, a little cafe. So there is enough to do, but there is not really a lot of play features in there. Of course, a big set like this always sparks the imagination, and you have absolutely stuff to play around with, but I think they could have done a much better job if they, for example, did a bit like they did with the police station of last year, where they really have a story revolving around this set, and that is something I'm missing in this set, which would have been nice for the playability. So that's why I'm also giving the playability a 6 out of 10. I was not completely convinced about that with this set. Now for the display value, and of course that is where this set should shine. Like all 18 plus sets, I think the display value is one of the most important factors in the whole rating system that I have. And there are absolutely, from just the view that you get, like from this side, it's an absolutely gorgeous build. The inside is very, very nicely decorated with a lot of rooms that are interiorized with beds. There's a bathroom, there's a lot of wardrobes, and on the first floor we even get a reception's office. Super nice buildable stairs that we get in this. The display value and the details that are in this set are really nice, but there is one problem I really have with this, and I know that problem will be taken out of the equation when you have multiple of these more of the modular building line and you can connect them to each other. But if you look at this from the side, in my opinion, it looks really, really bad. I know the point is of these sets that you have to connect them to each other and they will flow much more into each other. But for me, just the comparison between the beautiful front side that is clearly based on European early 20th century architecture. You see it in the curves with the big chapel on top here. All the windows and the pillars that they use, it's an incredibly detailed design. All the fences, the iron fences that we get on here, it looks beautiful. And then you turn the set around and you get, yeah, a lot of empty walls without anything really to show there. I just think that's a real shame. But of course I get it. I'm looking at this from a perspective where you do not own any of the other modular buildings. If you can combine them with other ones, that problem is taken away. But since I'm rating the set on its own, on the way it is right here in front, I have to take that into consideration. And for me, that is really a drawback. Doesn't take away that the rest of the set is beautifully designed. You can clearly see the architectural style that they went for. I love the color scheme with the light nougat salmon pink color that we get here, which is a very unique color. So there's also a lot of unique pieces in there, but we'll touch on that a bit later. The design is beautiful. It's a very, very, very good thing that there are no stickers in the set. So everything that you see with printed tiles, it's all printed like this, no stickers. That's a huge plus and also increases this display value for me. But yeah, the side of the build really takes some points away for me. And to be completely honest, there's a lot of repetition in the windows on this side. So there is, I'm not saying it looks boring or bland, but there is a lot of repetition going on, although it fits the style very well. So having kept that all in mind, I'm going to rate the display value an 8 out of 10. I think that's a very good score for a beautiful building. There's just some minor points that I have to take away from it here. Now for the part selection of this set, and this is usually in a lot of my reviews, the part selection is always one of those points that takes some points of the score away. Because a lot of sets have the problem that they look beautiful, but they don't have an amazing part selection. That is not the case in this set. This set has an incredible part selection. Just the amount of things you could do with all these parts if you would do a mock with this and just completely create something of yourself. It's incredible and really, really fantastic. There's a lot of unique parts in here. Not only the printed tiles, but also some stuff that we get in new colors that we haven't seen before. Some completely unique parts here. And the part selection is just fantastic in this set. And I'm going to rate that a 9 out of 10. And the last of the criteria I rate this set by is the value for money. For 200 euros, you get a very, very nice building. I know that if you compare it to some of the older modular buildings, the price increased a bit, but 7 cents per piece is still a very fair price, I think, for a Lego set nowadays, at least. So you get a beautiful set in return. I wish there was a bit more unique stuff going on with the minifigures. Play features, yeah, the play features are also not the best. I rated both of those a 6 out of 10, but the rest of the set is really beautiful, and I think it's absolutely worth the money that you are gonna spend for it. So I'm gonna rate the value for money a 7 out of 10. So that comes down to an overall rating of a 7.5 out of 10. In my rating system, I only work with whole numbers, so that means it's an 8 out of 10. I have to bump it up. It's an absolutely beautiful set. Don't get me wrong. It's just, for me personally, not really something I am interested in my display room. Mostly because I focus more on the fantasy element of the sets. But that being said, I'm very curious what you as the viewer think of this set. Do you agree with the criticism I have of the set, or do you think this is an absolutely above average set, or are you a bit underwhelmed with the set as well? Because I had very high hopes for this set, and I think there's so many more sets that I have reviewed lately that got at least a very good 8 out of 10 or even a 9, or I even had some sets with a 10 out of 10. This set doesn't come close in that regard. It's still a perfectly good score, but what do you think? Do you think it's fair how I rated the set, or would you have made some different choices there? So let me know down in the comments. I'm very happy that I did get my hands on this. It was a super nice experience, and maybe I will make the same decision for the next time one of the modular buildings comes out. All depending on how nice the model looks in the first place. And that's it for this review. Thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to also watch the speed build of this set. You can completely see how this is built up from the first to the last stone. And if you enjoyed this video, please, you can help me out a lot by just hitting the like button, leaving a comment, and if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe and notification bell so you can stay updated what is going on my channel. I have a lot more planned for the upcoming weeks, since there's a lot of sets that came out, but you'll have to wait and see for that. But keep my channel, keep a close eye on my channel. There's a lot more to come. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.